So before this last episode of Monday Night Raw even went on air, I was fully expecting WWE to screw up another pay-per-view build just as they have done many times before, and I was already getting ready to jump on YouTube and trash the hell out of them just as I have done many times before. As this episode progressed and it had the whole old school Raw theme, I honestly felt that they were playing too much on the nostalgia. You know, it's good every now and then, but I felt that they went like overboard with it, with the whole setup and everything. It just came off as corny to me. I was one of very few people who weren't fully marking out for the whole damn thing, but you know, whatever. I felt that it was the absolute wrong time, especially seeing as you have a pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, and on the last episode of Monday Night Raw, you're playing off of the nostalgia and going for the humor with all of these appearances instead of, you know, trying to build up a pay-per-view, knowing that's one of your huge problems these days. But who would have known that the combination of Survivor Series build-up and the old school theme would have come together and produced an excellent product, and that product is the last segment of the night, more specifically Roddy Piper. I will say this, I already posted it on Twitter, I'm going to say it on YouTube, you can quote me. Roddy Piper did more in 5 minutes to promote Survivor Series than John Cena, Wade Barrett, and the WWE Champion Randy Orton have done in weeks. That segment, that promo was absolutely excellent. I absolutely loved it. It was real. It seemed authentic, genuine. I just loved it. And the most important thing about it, he actually put the WWE Championship as the focus. We hear Randy Orton, he was bitching and moaning about how John Cena was going to screw him. Then you had John Cena, you know, oh, it's his free or fired, you know, stipulation. They were making the match more about John Cena than they were the competitors and the actual WWE Championship. And this isn't an exactly new thing. They've been doing this for the WWE Championship for a very long time, stripping it of its prestige, stripping it of its importance. And Roddy Piper came back and for 5 minutes put prestige back in that title. He talked about the legacy of that championship, talked about people like him who have never got the chance to hold the WWE Championship, and how if John Cena basically just gave the championship to Wade Barrett, he would be spitting in all of their faces. It was an excellent segment. I absolutely loved it, and like I said, he did more to promote that main event than all of those three guys have done in weeks. I absolutely loved it. That's something that I need to see more of in WWE. And you guys have been wondering why I haven't been making videos on YouTube really lately. It's because I'm kind of like on and off about WWE at times. Like I'm kind of flaky with it now. I used to watch I still watch every single week, but 2 weeks ago when they had Pee Wee Herman in the ring with the Miz, I actually changed the channel. Now that may not seem like much, but for me, that was the first time in I don't know how long I was actually watching Monday Night Raw, and I was just so fed up by the bullshit that I was seeing that I changed the channel out of frustration. Because on one hand you have Pee Wee fucking Herman in the ring, and he's talking to honestly, I was like tuned out. I was just sitting on the screen looking at the TV like, really? I was a Miz in that moment. Like, really, WWE, really? And I just changed the channel because of Pee Wee Herman, and also this guy is holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, and this is the best that you can come up with, having him in the ring with Pee Wee fucking Herman. But I will say, they did redeem themselves this week and last week, also having the Miz actually involved with the WWE Champion and reminding the WWE Champion that you're worried about John Cena screwing you over, but still we have the Miz in the background. You should be, you know, a little bit worried about him also with that Money in the Bank briefcase. So that was pretty good. I guess I'm just, you know, talking off the cuff in this video. A lot of people have been asking me, what do you think is going to happen with the Miz? Do you think he's going to cash in the Money in the Bank? He's going to be a WWE Champion, or is he going to lose the Money in the Bank? I've said this before. I will say it again. If the Miz... No, whether or not the Miz cashes in the Money in the Bank and wins the WWE Championship, or cashes it in and loses, I still think the Miz will go on to be a world champion. He probably doesn't even need the Money in the Bank briefcase. You know, he can, you know, get to a WWE Championship the same way that people have been doing it for decades. Hell, just win the #1 contendership, get a championship match. You know, that is always an option. He doesn't necessarily have to win it with the Money in the Bank briefcase. I still think it's a spot for him in the WWE main event. So yeah, there you go with that. I guess I can move back to old school Raw now. Like I said, I found the whole setup to Raw, I found it a little bit corny. You know, I wasn't really marking out for it, but it was, you know, great to see a lot of faces. I absolutely loved seeing and, more importantly, hearing JR on commentary. I'm a huge Michael Cole fan, or at least a huge heel Michael Cole fan. You know, I like Cole when he's intentionally annoying. I don't like Cole when he's trying to play the company guy, because it really doesn't work for him. And I think that's great that they have Cole on commentary on SmackDown, and they still have Todd Grisham there to, you know, basically be fed the lines from WWE, fed the lines from the scripts, and basically be the company guy. I think that's great to have that three-man announce team, and I think it would be great if they brought back JR and had King and Cole on commentary all together. I think JR is and this is something that I've never really heard people talk about. We talk about how WWE has a problem building stars and also maintaining those stars. Could it be that JR is one thing that's missing there? Because you have to realize that seeing is only half of the battle. You know, we have to have somebody there that opens up a new perspective of things and basically pushes these stars simply with the voice. Just imagine looking at some of the all-time great matches over the years and looking at people like Stone Cold. Imagine what those entities would be like without JR there. Would Stone Cold be, hell, he would probably be a huge star, but would he be as iconic if JR wasn't there? Would these greatest matches of all time be as great as they were if JR wasn't on commentary? And I think that's something that WWE underplays greatly. You don't know the effect that the announcers have on the product. And JR, he looked great. He sounded great, as he always has on commentary. So what's the holdup, Vince? What's the friggin' holdup? I was reading on some wrestling website, and they were talking about how he was dissatisfied with Todd Grisham's commentary on SmackDown. That's why he brought Michael Cole onto the commentary table on SmackDown. Vince, you have no nerve complaining about the announcers when you have the greatest announcer of all time sitting at home, and you won't even put him back on TV. But I'm glad to, like I said, more importantly, hear JR tonight. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to Survivor Series on Sunday. They haven't announced any traditional Survivor Series matches, but like I said, Roddy Piper, he sold this show in 5 minutes. He did a better job selling this show hell than a WWE champion did. So yeah, I guess that's where I'll end this video. I am J-Dub. Oh yeah, and speaking of old school Raw, notice I have the mini fro. I brought the mini fro back for, you know, one video. I'll be back to my hats later on. But yeah, I'm not bald. I'm not balding. I have a full head of hair. I wasn't trying to hide anything by having the hats, but you know, here you go. You finally see what's under the hat for all of my new peeps. But for all of my old ones, yes, here's old school J-Dub. And old school J-Dub, hell, it's only like 2009, but you get what I'm saying. Peace out.